Okay, I'm live. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to give it a little bit of time here for people to slowly trickle into the stream because, as it's been admitted and reported, and I'm not sure I'm going to cover that in this particular video. Got a lot to cover, but I will at least let you people know once you start trickling in that YouTube, it's confirmed, definitely messing with their our channels, and it comes straight from the horse's mouth itself, or herself, I should say. Straight. So let me send it out. There we go. All right. Gone. All right, that should do for now. Still nobody. All right, give it a moment. Give it the moment. All right, just one sec here. Oh, there's somebody in the stream here. Good day there, Nish Noob and Pound Atlas. Hi, all. Actually, yeah, let me open up the whole YouTube thing here. Because, yeah, why not? Why not? Why not just cover it? Just to get it on the front end here. I'm definitely going to be making a standalone video regarding this, but why not? A lot of us basically it's been, I'm not exactly sure now how long it's been, but it's been a substantial period of time that those of us who are content creators, YouTubers, have been suspecting that our channels and our videos, our streams, our content is being suppressed. And yeah, it has definitely been confirmed. No more speculation needed. Now it's been confirmed. And like I said already, it's coming straight from the horse's mouth. The CEO of YouTube, he did a podcast with the New York Times. I'm just trying to find it here now so I can share it with you folks. And I guess, I'll probably have to throw that in the old description too. So I'll have to remember to do that after the stream is over. Oh my God, I've gone through a lot of stuff since then. Woo. When I see how much stuff I cover, the amount of articles, news, information, documentaries, videos, books, literature, the stuff that I go through just in the run of a month, never mind a year, would probably astound most people if they've seen it. It's unbelievable how much stuff I deal with on a regular basis. Information overload. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so where's the original? Yeah, okay, let me find this original one here. There it is. Reclaim the net. Reclaim the net. Yeah, I might as well share the entire podcast too. So now I'm going to have to add these on the fly, folks. Well, I'm just going to add them right into the description here. I always keep the links steady or handy just for such an occasion. Like I say,
I guess the reason I'm bringing that up
Whoa,
is that
what's up with that?
one of the biggest
Oh, there we go. The podcast started. Ha ha! Freaky. Freaky dicky. Freaky dicky. Oh. Okay. So Reclaim the Net is just one of the outlets reporting. And of course, like I say, then there's the podcast link that I'll have as well from the New York Times that had the big sit down chat. All right, almost done, folks. Almost done, folks. Patience. Patience. Okay. All right, we're getting her done now. We're getting her done now. So let me share this. Oh, yeah, now I can close up that. Haha. All right. So actually, let me see who else is in the stream here. What the hell? Been missing you folks for the last few days. But I'm back by not so popular demand, but I'm back anyways. Fuck it, right? I don't care. Whether you want to hear me or not, I'm still going to say what I got to say. I don't care if Susan or everyone in YouTube or even the dipshits in this. I don't care who it is that has a hate on or don't want to hear what I got to say. I'm going to fucking say it anyways. Because that's what I'm all about it. I'll speak my mind. I don't give a shit how many people listen, but I do know there are some people that listen. I just wish there was a lot more. But anyways, let's see who else is in the stream. We got Kaz. Kaz just got the notification right on. Kaz. What's going on, Dreamcatcher? Hey, man. What's that, a snake? Cute. Cool picture. Hey, Gail, how's it going? Got milk? What's that? What's got? G-O-T or gato? No, got. I don't know. Maybe that's short for something. I'm just out of the loop. Hey, what's going on, the anarchists? Bonjour tout le monde. Good day to the world, to everybody. What's up? What's up? Oh, lots of stuff. Holy crap. You wait till you folks, and this is definitely going to go at least a couple hours. But yeah, rather than me waste too much time, I'm going to have to go through the comments here real quick. Because God damn, like I say, ton of stuff to cover. What's going on, Ira Wilbur? Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you. I reached another milestone on my YouTube channel. Thanks, Susan. I've gone down to 7.79. I was at 7.8, 7.81, 7.82. Then it dropped down to 7.81. Then it dropped down to 7.0. Then back up. It was hovering at the 7.8-ish mark all along, right? But no, got to destroy even that. No, stagnant growth, that's bad enough. But no. YouTube with their algorithms and fucking with channels like myself, as like I say, it's been admitted by Susan, the CEO of YouTube these days, is just hell bent making sure that my voice doesn't get out there. But it's going to get out there anyways. It's like I don't. It's like what are you trying to protect people from, Susan? What is that? I mean, I'm just the truth. Ooh, this truth scary. Ooh, that scary truth. But like I say, regardless, I'm saying what's on my mind. I was watching a valuetainment, and the dude they were interviewing predicted that the Chinese Communist Party will collapse in a year. Here's open. That'd be pretty sweet, right? What's going on, Tommy Gun? The Tommy Gun. Right on. Morning, Bennett. Here, Greta's now. Yes, I heard all about that. It's amazing, right? Well, don't you know? Listen, based on if you ever read any of the articles these days, like in this modern propagandist world that we live in, this COVID-19 84-ish world we live in today, everyone's an expert, right? Well, at least those they want you to believe the rhetoric or the bullshit they espouse. That's the only way that's all they got left these days is just refer to everybody as, hey, they're an expert. Okay, if you say so, right? Anyways, yeah. So Stan, what's going on? Greta's an expert about as much as Chris Cuomo is a journalist. Yeah, right. Neither anything of the sorts. What happens when CCP soldiers start forcing vaccines on us? Well, they won't be forcing it on me, right? Listen, bring it on. It's been a little boring here as of late. No, but I mean, bring on the excitement. Yeah, you go ahead. Like I've said to people before, that are advocates or supporters of forced anything, right? Forced, especially when you're talking about vaccines. Like, yeah, are you willing? I've been getting back in. I've been slack a little bit, but I've been getting back into doing the exercise because, like, yeah, I'm a squirmer. I'm a fighter. And if you try to hold me down, I could even be a biter. So, yeah. Bring it on. Yeah. Who's going to do it? Like I say, I want to find out who the first person is that's willing to hold me down while someone sticks a fucking a CCP derived vaccine in my arm, right? Yeah. Good luck with that one. Right. Yeah. I'm joking about it. I'm laughing, but I'm absolutely 100% serious. Not ever going to happen. Not for me. Not for this chap. And good luck trying. But anyways, like I say, I'll get to the rest of the actually let me get a couple more here. See gold and silver spiked it. I haven't been looking at the commodities or anything yet today there, Stan. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be covering there, Anarchist. She rigs algorithm to favor the mainstream. It drowns out the smaller creators like yourself that I enjoy it. Yeah, that's exactly what she admitted. Of course, you or others have probably already seen my because I've posted all this to all my social media pages, so I'm sure many of you have already seen it, or you've already seen it for yourself. Although I got to admit that it was kind of happenstance, and the fortunate thing of me being subscribed and following so many, it's like I have my tentacles out in so many different areas. I was fortunate to come across this particular post because it wasn't something that was it wasn't something that you would have seen like from CBC or Global or anything like that. But I definitely was great to see it. And then to see the link, because it didn't come, I didn't see the New York Times article. I got it through someone else's uploaded article. And then I had to click on the link within that and then click on it. So had to follow a few extra links just to get to the actual New York Times podcast. But yeah, anyways, what's going on, Linda Kelmish, or however you pronounce it? Sorry about that. But hi, how you doing? By the way, folks, if you don't mind, everyone, please hit the like button. I know that seems to be a difficult thing for some, I guess. I don't know. It should be. It should be pretty simple. But anyways, let's get to the this topic or this story at hand. Let me bring up the old screen sharing. Like I say, I hope everyone's doing great today. I've been checking the weather, and it looks like this week's going to be finally warm weather's here. And it looks like it might even be here for good on the old East Coast, although I won't hold my breath just yet. You never know what old Mother Nature's got in store for us. Anyways, so here you go, folks. So this is the second from not the original article. This is the second. And then once again, the link to the actual New York Times thing was linked in this as well. But as you can see, so this is called reclaimthenet.org. This was issued May 10th, 2020. YouTube CEO, users don't like authoritative mainstream media channels, but we boost them anyways. Yeah, right. It's like, yeah, the end users, and lots of things. Like, it's called YouTube, Susan. Like, can't you folks, like, that's what I mean. Silicon Valley libertarians, a bunch of libertarian type or geeky dudes, right? That are into tech and computers and algorithms and coding and all that stuff, created a lot of these social media platforms. And basically they've all been, I don't know, moved on to bigger, better things or to do something else. Either that or the activists within these organizations, once they've gone public, right? They've basically given them the boot, because that's what happens once your companies go public and stuff. Is you do tend to, unless you're really, really proactive, tend to lose a lot of control over your organization. But basically the SJWs and the leftists, the ones that like to silence and suppress speech on a tremendous level, have basically pushed out all the libertarians that started a lot of these things up. Because like YouTube was very much all about YouTube. That's why they called it YouTube. Right now it's not. It's about mainstream tube. It's going to go the way of like cable television, which is the reason why cable television went by the wayside, was because there were new entrants like YouTube, where we didn't have to sit and watch through nonstop ads and shitty programming that's basically the same shit on every channel, right? Basically, right? No, YouTube was actually to offer to counter that stuff and to revitalize what it is to have actual options, right? But now, like I say, they've gone the wayside. Now they're working together and in conjunction with the mainstream to silence and suppress us. And why that is, you ask? Because we have proven to be tremendously effective and being able to challenge these big, giant establishment media conglomerates and organizations, things such as the CBC or these big, like I say, these big $1 billion, organizations or corporations. Little old people like myself can challenge them to such an extensive degree on such a shoestring budget that, well, they had no choice. They got to silence and suppress us for daring to challenge the status quo. Meanwhile, like I say, that is the whole point of why these tech startups come to fruition in the first place. So Susan seems to forget entirely what the whole point of YouTube is. But anyways, let's read a little bit on here. This was reported by Tom Parker. Susan Wojcicki confirms your suspicion. Well, thank you, Susan. At the very least, I will say that. I will say, at the very least, you've shown the fortitude, right? The courage to at least admit that you are screwing us over for the establishment. So I guess I could at least say thanks for that, right? But that's the only thing I can thank you for, because you're causing, the kind of information that people like myself provide, right? People are really, really in desperate need of it, because I see what's happening out there on the political or the social landscape, and people are very ignorant and ill-informed. And, well, I guess they got you to thank for that too, because the only way for us to challenge them is for us to have our ability to put our voices out there and to be heard and seen, right? But Susan, no, not going to allow that, huh? If you're tired of censorship, subscribe to Reclaim the Net. Over the last few years, YouTube and its executives have made it clear that when it comes to news and current events, authoritative sources, mainstream media outlets it deems to be trustworthy, will get boosted via the platform's recommendation tools, while independent creators who cover the news will be suppressed. Sounds like it's talking just exactly at me, and as if I don't notice that, right? But at least, like I say, before I was always, is it me? No, but there was a little bit of time there for a while. I got to tell you, folks, and some of you might have seen and experienced it yourself when you hear me talk about this stuff. I was like, is it me? Is it people just pissed off about me and my blatant honesty? And I don't know. Like I say, I don't know. But nah, it's not just me. So at the very least, I can hold my head just a little bit higher these days, knowing at the very least, at the bare minimum, that not only is it not me per se, but apparently little old me has so much power with the kind of truth and knowledge that I espouse, that a gigantic organization such as YouTube feels so desperate that they have to silence and suppress my voice, so that the mainstream, the establishment, these $1 billion+ organizations like the CBC, can get their message out there. And what, Susan? People, as you've seen, basically, or as you admitted to, they still aren't trusting the media. So yeah, you're getting the mainstream media out there, and lots of people are seeing and hearing it, but all you're actually doing at the end of the day is turning more and more people away from it, because the people are seeing that you're feeding them a line of bullshit and not offering counter perspectives or narratives. So I don't know. Is this reverse psychology possibly? Yeah, I doubt that. And during an interview on the New York Times Rabbit Hole podcast, like I say, you'll be able to click, when you click on this article that'll be in the description of the stream. As you can see, you just hover over that. It gives you a clickable link, and then you can listen to that podcast. I'm not going to play it here because it's not anything candid. It's the New York Times, and if I play it, they might try to do a copyright claim or shit like that. I know you're supposed to be able to do that through fair use, right? But because channels like mine are targeted already as it is, yeah, I'm not going to take the chance, right, of them trying to give me a copyright strike or some shit, because that'd be another way that they could try to, take my channel down. So yeah, thanks, but no thanks. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki admitted that most YouTube users don't want to watch these authoritative sources, but said the platform will continue to boost them anyways, right? Wojcicki said that she decided to start prioritizing authoritative sources in the wake of the terrorist attack in Nice, France, on Bastille Day, July 14th in 2016. I mean, just think about that. Like I say, not only is she tying one hand and 1 feet behind the back in terms of someone like myself, that, like, what do I get? Like, shoestring budget of like what, $100, if I can even garner $100 in the run of a month. But yet she's going to carry all this favor for the established media. It's like, I mean, it's bad enough to tie my foot and hand behind my back, Susan, but then to prop up the competition that wants to run over me and then hand them the keys to a what? A giant steamroller or a cement roller. I mean, like, really? That's kind of cruel, Susan. You're a cruel, cruel lady. Very vicious. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't have a very good social or personal life, and you know how that works. Like, if you're miserable in your own personal life, then yeah, you can bring that out into your work world, right? Maybe Susan needs to get herself somebody that brings more meaning and happiness in her life, so she's not taking all of her anger and frustrations out on we content creators, right? I remember reading about it and being just extremely upset and thinking, our users need to know about it, Wojcicki said. Oh, yeah, but they would have known about it, to pretend that people wouldn't have learned about that thing, whether you just had to share the mainstream media, because then nobody would have ever known. Like, what a load of crap that is, right? She then decided that YouTube would start pushing videos about the attack to the homepage of users in France and prioritize videos from authoritative sources when French users search for information about the attack. So complete I mean, it's basically admitting they're completely manipulating what you see and hear. So, right? That's propaganda. So Susan's admitting they just want to propagandize you, right? Because if you're not given the option or ability to have that alternative source of information or perspective provided, well, that's propaganda. Like, just look it up what it means. Come on. However, when making the change, YouTube engineers warned, YouTube engineers. So the few libertarians that are still in there, but they're the functioning, the ones that actually do the actual work, but they're not in charge of it, right? Warned Wojcicki videos from the mainstream authoritative sources weren't performing very well in terms of engagement. And not only engagement, I mean, come on, we all know when we go out there and see, like, whether it's a CBC article or a global news article and covering some of these issues, you see they got way more thumbs down than they got thumbs up. You see this on a regular and continuing basis, especially over there with Steve Paikin and his freaking The Agenda, because you're not allowed to comment on there, or even the CPAC channel. Oh, you see so many times where they put on their stupid leftist propaganda rhetoric, and the like to dislike ratio, like I say, especially on the agenda, because you're not allowed to comment. So all you can do is like or dislike, and you see, oh yeah, like 100 thumbs up, maybe 1,000 thumbs down, like massively, where people, they're not. So even the ones that are engaging with it, a lot of people are engaging with it because they realize it's just propaganda, right? But even the ones that are engaging with it are voicing, through the like or the comments, right, that, we're not happy with what you got to offer, and we don't agree with the kind of rhetoric that's being espoused in these things. But once again, oh well, they're going to do it anyways, right? The users don't want to actually see it, the engineers told Wojcicki at the time. But Wojcicki decided to keep, I think I pronounced that right, I don't know, decided to keep showing the video to users and told the engineers, doesn't matter, we have a responsibility. Something happening in the world, and it's important for our users to know, Wojcicki boasted. She added this was the first time YouTube started pushing information to users that was relevant, even if the users didn't want to see it, compared to other content. In the years since Wojcicki made this decision, YouTube has rigged the site heavily in favor of authoritative sources, to the point that they're now 10 times more likely to top search results for some news events, while YouTubers won't even get recommended for breaking news. Yeah, tell me about it. Or when our streams go out, apparently, or anything like. And despite most YouTube users relatively not wanting to watch these mainstream media sources, YouTube's constant promotion of them in search, recommendations, and on the homepage has boosted their views by 75% since the start of 2020, right? Yeah, all the people that I guess used to watch my views or my channel or my videos or anything. What? So YouTube instead is trying to, like I said, trying to make me out to be the loser and propping up the competition that's already, like, not only does the established media already have established funding and resources, but now they get government. That's the other thing. When you're talking about Canada, now you got the government. Well, the CBC is already taxpayer funded. Well, not like we choose to. The government forces us as Canadians to pay for the CBC to propagandize us. But now we're going to be forced to pay for all the other media through that $600 million media bailout package. So we're all forced to pay for our competition. And in addition to being forced to pay for our competition, YouTube, the CEO there, is propping them up even more, making them more wealthy, right? To what? To further suppress us? Like, this, to me, it's just disgusting, cementing and strengthening the dominance of legacy sources in the online era. Like, what? And the whole point of disruptive outfits and outlets like the YouTube was to not do that, Susan. Another stat that reveals how aggressively YouTube is pushing these unpopular authoritative sources is that the coronavirus news shelf, which forces videos from mainstream media outlets onto users via the homepage, has been viewed over 10 billion times. Recent comments from YouTube's chief product officer, Neil Mohan, suggest that the platform's approach to who gets to cover the news and its attitude towards independent creators won't be changing anytime soon. So anyways, folks, like I say, all this will definitely be in the description of the stream, and so will that rabbit hole podcast. Like I say, that if you listen to it, and actually when you click on it, starts at about the 12-minute and something mark, and then goes because it's when they're actually talking about that. But like I say, you listen to it because it's not just the words you're in that article, but you'll actually hear it right from her mouth. And it's like I say, once you've heard it, it's like obviously very disturbing, very devastating. And to me, maybe at some point in time, lawsuits are in order because that's the thing. That's editorializing, right? The point of these platforms being able to, what is it, the 230, Section 230 or something that is down in the United States, and these are American companies, right? But I think it's Section 230 or something along those lines down in the U.S. Basically, the way they get away with this is because they claim to be just platforms. So just like a roadway, right? If a drug transaction happens or takes place out on the roadway, the people that built the roads aren't held responsible for it because it's just infrastructure. Well, so is YouTube. So YouTube, the reason why they're not held responsible for what's uploaded onto their channel or onto their platforms is because they're just considered a platform. But when you start editorializing where you're picking what's allowed, what's not allowed, the kind of information that's allowed and the kind of information that will be suppressed, that is editorializing. And then that does change the entire the paradigm. Not that I'm a fan of government regulating social media platforms. I'm definitely against that entirely. But hey, the rules are already there. No new legislation, no new rules have to be written or created. Just enforce the laws that are on the books in the U.S. right now, which says that if you want to editorialize, well, then you're going to have to be government mandated and regulated to allow, right? Not that I'm a fan, like I said, not that I'm a fan of it. I don't want government involved. But hey, they want to play these stupid games. Like as far as YouTube go, if YouTube wanted to not have to worry about any potential future infringements on their freedom to do what they want by big government, which I would be normally against, should do what they do. Either call themselves a platform and allow freedom of speech to flourish, or turn themselves into a media organization that you're going to editorialize and then you get treated as such, right? But they don't get to play this gray area. They don't get to skirt where they're not having to be holding by any rules entirely and function under pure anarchy. Because remember, these are the kind of people that would be completely and wholly against that kind of lawlessness or no rules, right? They love the rules. Just look at the anytime you sign up in any of these agreements on these platforms, look at how they love the rules. Well, they should have to fucking follow or abide by the goddamn rules that are established. And the rules that are established says if you're going to editorialize, well, you're going to be heavily regulated and have big government dictating what you do with your platform. Well, maybe at some point in time, like I say, maybe a class action lawsuit has to take place with this information now come to light. And maybe that's what the end result will be for YouTube. And if it ends up being that way, well, then that'll be the very precipice, will be the immediate time when the ultimate demise of YouTube will start to happen. And as far as I'm concerned, yeah, bring it on, because it's obviously not benefiting people like myself much anymore. So if it has to go by the wayside, yeah, I've got redundancy. I've got backups. I can upload my videos to multiple other sources. So if YouTube goes by the wayside, it is what it is. Anyways, folks, so get away from this stuff. Let me just read a few more comments here. Okay. Wait. Brent? You mean Bennett, right? So you mean Bennett, right, Missy? Or unless you're talking someone else here. But yeah, Bennett, by the way. But thanks. Just tweet you out. Sorry if I'm late. Haven't been getting, of course. I was just actually talking about that, Missy. YouTube's been messing with our channels, and now they actually have actually had to admit they've done so. Yeah, thank you very much, Missy. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's get back to the main thing today, because this I found, and it's like, remember I was telling you before with these polling things and how we covered it before, and I was like, oh, I wish I had got a screen capture of that poll that the Global News put on. But hey, this time I did, and this time busted. So let me click on this one. Oh, wait. Okay, hold her now. There we go. Huh? Wait a minute. What the deuce? Oh, yeah, I guess I'm probably going to have to. Son of a gun. Huh. Just one sec here, folks. Yeah, I guess. Well, it's a good thing I did the screenshot because I actually kept Twitter open too, hoping that it would be right here for me to share. But of course not. Dirty rotten scoundrels, huh? Well, that's okay because, like I say, I was wise enough to make sure. So this would be, it's under G, I believe. Okay. I hope that wasn't on my laptop. Let me see here. Nope. Okay, we got it. We got it. We got it. Let me open this bad boy up. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so now let me minimize this. Okay, so I'll start sharing this original tweet here. What the hell is going on here? I just seen my views drop by about 8 people. What the hell? Somebody just started up another. I don't know, whatever. Stop fucking with me, Susan. All right. All right. Share screen. So this here article, let me make sure you folks can see that now. Yeah, so it's a tweet. It's a tweet. And as you can see, a new poll conducted by Ipsos exclusively for Global News found that 67% of Canadians agree that Canada needs the ability to vaccinate before reopening. Do you agree? I mean, first and foremost, yeah, if you read the comments, of course, you can see mine's in there too. But if you read the comments here, and of course, some of them are people that I follow as well. But if you just read through these comments, as you can see, it's all people that are in complete disagreement with it. And I get some of them are people that, hey, Blue Apple. I see Blue Apple. I don't give a shit how many polls you do. But as you can see, the overwhelming majority of people are completely and wholly against it, but yet they put on the pretense that 67% of the people who took this poll agreed that you should have to have a vaccination before reopening. But meanwhile, all the people that are reading this thing on Twitter are disagreeing, or not all, but the overwhelming majority. So they're saying that their polling sample had the exact opposite effect of actually what the actual comments are. And yeah, it's not just that, because actually I did screen capture. I'll share that one now. How am I going to do that actually? How am I going to show the screen capture now that I think about it? Oh boy. How am I going to do it? Because it looks to open tab. Okay, I'm going to try something else here. Stop that. Okay, how am I going to do this? Application window, tab. Okay, no, I can't do it on the tab because it's not a tab. Application window. No, can't use that either. Okay, maybe if I do it this way. No, I can't do it that way either. All right. How am I going to do this then? Huh. Wow. Okay. Okay, I got to try to figure this out, folks. How am I going to share? It's just a screen capture, because usually when I share a screen, it asks me to just share tabs. But there was a thing on this here actually where was that guy that did his own poll? Because I can show that. Or did they delete it? Huh. How very, very, very odd, huh? Let me go back to this other one. Oh, no. Okay. Let me put it back. So this one, at least, I'm still going to try to find another way to share because, like I say, the poll itself was actually the exact opposite. But there was this someone else here, but I will have to share this first. So, okay, let me go to this one first. Yeah, there we go. So I got to share this one first. All right, let me share this one. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. So this was an article in reference to, okay, let me scroll back up so you can see. So this was an article in reference to this poll, and this is, as you can see, global news. Wider testing, surveillance needed to catch asymptomatic COVID-19 cases, according to experts, of course, experts, by Hannah Jackson, Global News. This was May 13th, update May 14th. So I'll just scroll down past the article, but actually, let me get down to the part where they mention the numbers. So as you can see here, a new poll conducted by Ipsos exclusively for Global News found that the majority of Canadians, 72%, agreed that Canada needs the ability and capacity to test widely for COVID-19 before society can be reopened. What's more, the survey found 67% agree that Canada needs the ability to vaccinate against COVID-19 before reopening. So that's where they're getting that 67% mark, is from this poll. This poll that, of course, they shared it on their Twitter page as well. But this is their actual article from Global News. But here's the thing I want you to really notice. So they say 67% agree that you have to have a vaccine before reopening. Now, what was that sampling done? How did they derive that conclusion? Well, here's what you always got to look when you're talking about polls. The sampling and how many people were used in the sampling. So exclusive Global News Ipsos polls are protected by copyright, right? So don't try sharing that stuff because they're protected by copyright, right? The information and or data may only be rebroadcast or republished with full and proper credit and attributed to Global News Ipsos. This Ipsos poll on behalf of Global News was an online survey. So it was online, right? Which we know that the margin of error it's very wide and very loose because as online polls, well, anybody can take an online poll. So your sampling can skew heavily one way or the other. That's quite easy with online polls, as we see. Of 1,000 Canadians conducted between May 8th and 11th, the results were weighted to better reflect the composition of the adult Canadian population, right? They manipulated to apparently to try to better reflect the Canadian adult population. But what does that mean? Did they break it down? No. And do you have access to? No, because it's all copyrighted. And it's anyways. But so it was 1,000 Canadians between May 8th and 11th. So the 8th, 9th, the 10th, and if they kept going the 11th or it was ended on the 11th. So it's 3 or 4 days. So it's only like basically 250 to 333 people a day, which is pretty small peanuts in numbers, right? But apparently of that 1,000 people, 67% of them, and like I would ask, was it the one that you actually had included on Twitter, because the Twitter one had the exact opposite results. So I don't know where I don't even know where to find this actual poll, because if I can figure out how to show that the actual screen capture of the poll on Twitter, this exact poll that they had on Twitter, the numbers are completely upside down. But anyway, so that's 1,000 people. So let me just close this out. So 1,000 people. Meanwhile, this gentleman, whoever this person was that replied to this Global News tweet, as you can see, so there it is. A new poll conducted by Ipsos exclusively for Global News found that 67% of Canadians agree that Canada needs the ability to vaccinate before reopening. So do you agree, right? And it used to be, but now that it's over, it used to be that you could look, it wasn't just the article, but underneath of it, you could click on it, yes or no, and then you would get the results. It's obviously over now, and there's no way to find it. But like I say, once I get a way to figure out how to share that screen capture with you, I'll show you the actual results that showed up on Twitter, on their webpage, like on Global News' actual Twitter page. But if you look underneath that, a Mr. Bill K, support small business, who was replying to Global News. He did his own poll because, as you know, it's easy to do a poll these days on social media platforms. I think every social media platform out there has the ability to create your own polls, which is an online poll, which is exactly what they did. So this guy's poll is done with the same basic modeling as the Global News poll. And look, if you look at it, Mr. Bill's poll, Global poll says 67% of Canadians say we need a vaccine before opening. Do you agree? Basically the same thing, right? Asking the same question, and it's a yes or no answer, straight up yes or no, just like the Global News poll. And yet, look, what is the response? Now, I'll admit, like I say, because this person might be someone has more people that would be like, I don't know, right-wingers or anti-Global News or anti-leftist or that kind of crap. Obviously, the results are going to skew much more heavily in that manner, right? But if you look at it, the sampling was actually triple. So it's almost 3,000 people, 2,985 people voted for this particular poll. And look at what the results were. 92.7% of the people said no, right? They don't agree. Whereas a mere 7.3% did. But anyways, like I say, I'm going to tell you what the numbers are. Sorry. Come on, Bennett. You can do better grammar than that. Wait now. Let me see. Is this one? Aha! No. Well, this one. Okay, this one. Yeah. New poll. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. No, this works. So you folks, let me just make sure you folks can see it because I didn't know if you could. Yeah, you can see it. All right. So now I don't have to worry about that screen capture. I'm really glad that this worked out because look, I actually clicked on another link that someone had, but look, as you can see, it's Global News and it's a little blue check mark. So it's their actual Twitter page. And you can click on the actual article. Obviously, that'll take you to the article that I was reading. But here's the results right here. A new poll. So it says 67% agree that we need the ability to vaccine. So do you agree? But if you look down here, the results are exactly opposite. So where's the results? Like, since they're sharing it on their page, where's this poll that actually shows the results that this Ipsos says was the result? Because if you look, this is the poll that they're talking about. This is the actual poll on Twitter that they're talking about. And based on this poll, which is the exact same poll that they used with that 1,000 people, although I have to suspect, what did they have it that when they were doing that online, what would you do? Target it for the senior center? Because maybe the seniors would be all about, yeah, you better make them young people get a vaccine before they come out around, maybe that, because like I say, look at this. 69% said no. And there's actually only 26% that actually agreed. So completely almost exactly flipped upside down. So confused yet, right? Which just shows another perfect example that these polls they're a farce. They're a complete farce. I mean, not only is this showing the direct opposite result than what's being reported, just literally like it's right up above. They're reporting that this poll says 60% agree, but yet contained within the poll in the article, it says that 69% disagree. So, right, unbelievable, folks. This is they're what it is they're getting lazy these days. These central planners, these media mouthpieces, these propagandists, they're feeling so entitled these days that they're making mistakes hand over fist all the time. And this is exactly what's happening. But thank goodness, because like I say, now we have 100% clear and concise proof that these polls are not only manipulative, but actually being completely reported and skewed almost in the exact opposite of what the actual results showed. So pretty disturbing stuff, if you ask me, folks. What do you think? Anyways, like I say, that article will definitely be in the description of the stream below. Let's see what everyone else is going on, because I wanted to cover that. I thought that was a big one. Like these pollsters, I love catching them in their lies and their rhetoric. That's the best thing that you can do, is catch them in their lies, because then when you share that stuff, like right now, well, I would tell you right now, if you don't take advantage of sharing this information with someone, especially if you've got people in your life that fucking hate on the fact that you like to promote freedom of speech, or you watch libertarian channels, or you challenge the status quo or the establishment or the current ruling class. If these are the people that support Trudeau, or these lefties, or these rags, these media outlets, these establishment media outlets, show them this with clear and concise proof. Well, here you go. Here's evidence. Go ahead, debunk it. Prove me I'm wrong. And that way like I say, this is a perfect example where you got the information right there at your fingertips that you can use to prove to these people that are deniers, right? The fact that the media is doing everything they can to completely misrepresent and skew and propagandize the minds of millions of Canadians and ultimately billions of people all over the world, because this is what's happening. This is what's taking place. And you need to let people know about it, and you need to show them the kind of proof that I'm bringing to light so that they don't just hear about it, they actually see it with their own eyes, right? Hey, what's going on? Dawn Knighthood, Dawn DAWN. That's a lady's name. Nice to see. Nice to see some more ladies joining the stream. Like I say, it's always good to have a mixture, right? I really appreciate you. Hear the message gun activist sent to Trudeau. Oh, was that the one where they're going to do the lawsuits? Because that's the thing with these judges in this country. I don't know how well that's going to pan out, but I'm not 100% sure on that. The message gun, unless it was the lawsuit thing, but I'll keep an eye out for your comments further down. Maybe you'll clarify things better for me there, Don. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Right then. Let's see where we're at. Where are we at? But like I say, at the very least, I seen Leo's in the chat. So at the very least, Leo, we know now. I think I was talking to you about it before anyways, but like I say, especially if the beginning of this video, if you didn't notice, Leo, I covered it and I shared the actual, like I say, the podcast will be embedded in it, but I shared the actual article from Reclaim the Net that clearly points out, and like I say, embedded in it is the New York Times podcast interviewing Susan, the CEO of YouTube, where she basically has admit that she's suppressing our voice, silencing what we've got to say, and suppressing our content while boosting establishment media sources. So there's that. And then, of course, the fact that these polls are completely misrepresented and full of lies. Absolute bullshit. Lots of stuff. But if you just started a little later on. Oh, yeah, I'm on BitChute, by the way, there, Don. I haven't uploaded anything there in a while, and I'll tell you why. I have a terrible internet connection where I'm at currently. And to try and upload to these multiple sources, it uses up so much of my bandwidth. And then I don't have, I can't do anything. Basically, everything freezes and buffers because we're all on like limited bandwidth use these days because I'm in the rural area and blah, blah, blah. But I will definitely at some point in time, when we finally get half decent internet speeds out here in the sticks, I want to be constantly uploading so that I have multiple redundant platforms uploading my videos. But if you folks want to at least go over there now and subscribe to me so that you do at least know if anything happens to me on YouTube, that you at least know somewhere else where you can find me. Like I say, go on over to BitChute, Canadian Libertarian, and you'll see my channels over there. Rules for thee, but not for thee. Yeah, not for me, right? Hey, what's going on? Ken Jacobson. Haven't seen you for a while. Actually, usually not too much on the chats. On Facebook, I believe. Yeah, Ken. I think it's Ken Jacobson, right? On Facebook, I am right. I could be wrong. But anyways, thanks for joining. The library is very good alternative. Oh, LBRY, very good alternative on what? Not sure what that one is there. Okay. China to my home in communist land. Unfortunately, it is these days. And I saw and behold a white horse, and that sat on him, had a bowl, and a crown was given to him, and he went forth conquering. Yeah, Brian, work right on. Okay. Hey, Rika. What's going on, Rika? Always hopeful. I am too, Rika. I am too. Nice to see you in the stream. What's going on, Jake? Yeah, please share the stream. Right on, Missy. Yes, please do, folks. Please. Like, really, though? It's not just for me, right? It's kind of important. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting to use. I'm waiting for it when they start the whole vaccine thing. I'm starting to get my feminist stance on, right? Or my the anti-abortion or the abortionist stance, right? My body, not my choice. Well, yeah, that works for men too, right? Anyways, yeah, so let's get back into this because now that let me close up that. Okay, because now that we're talking about the vaccines, let's get into the meat and potatoes of that whole vaccine thing. Because, yeah, still a ton of stuff to cover when you're talking about the old vaccine. So we already hear that the way the media is trying to put forth and present the whole information in regards to the vaccine is they're saying, we know this to be absolutely bullshit because I just proved it, right? But what they're trying to say, what they're trying to tell you to think, how they're trying to inform Canadians to think is that, yeah, you better be willing to accept mandatory vaccines because look, the overwhelming majority of your country, your fellow citizens demand that or want that to happen, right? Which obviously the poll is completely skewed and completely misrepresentative of the facts out there, but that's not going to prevent them from trying to convince you to believe this kind of nonsense, right? So is mandatory vaccines coming to Canada? Based on the evidence so far, it seems more than likely, right? Seems very much a possibility at the very least. Anyways, if you look here, this is a CBC News article. And listen to this. Where's this vaccine going to come from? You may ask. Well, yeah, a place that you're probably not going to have a whole lot of faith or trust in yourself, considering that's where this whole thing started in the first place, China, right? Anyway, so this is the health section. Canadians to help develop test potential COVID-19 vaccine from Chinese company. And if you function in China, like I love how they say a Chinese company. Every company in China basically has to function under, the rules or mandates of the Communist Party of China. So it's basically like their modern form of the fascistic style of communism. That's the thing. They realized that the old style of communism wasn't working out so well. So they, rather than take over the means of production entirely, they just assume the means of production by controlling and dictating how the actual production takes place or how the corporations function, right? But pretend that a Chinese company, what? Was it just an independent private company? Is that what you're trying to suggest there, CBC? Canada's public sector scientists and labs do play key roles. So Canada's public sector, Canada's communist, right? Socialist type system is going to work with the communist, socialist, the fascistic type of system over in China. Yeah, two government entities that are all big fans and supporters of communism are going to be working together to come up with a vaccine, for the people, for the masses. Doesn't that make you excited? Waiting to roll up the sleeve, right? Not. Anyways, this is being reported by Amina Zafar, May 12th, 2020. The National Research Council of Canada said Tuesday it will work with a Chinese company to try to develop its potential vaccine for COVID-19 more quickly. The Chinese company, CanSino Biologics, is already conducting human clinical trials for its vaccine. Federal governments the world over have said vaccines are urgently needed to allow mass gatherings to resume. But that's only if clinical trials in thousands of human volunteers show safety and efficacy before shots go into the arms of vast swaths of the general public. As of April, 5 vaccine candidates have moved into clinical development in early stage human trials, including CanSino's called AD5-NCOV. The collaboration announced on Tuesday will allow Canada's publicly funded research council to try to scale up the technology needed to produce enough of the candidate's vaccine to protect Canadians. Matthew Herder, director of the Health Law Institute at Dalhousie University's Law School in Halifax, evaluated contracts for the Canadian Ebola vaccine. That vaccine followed a similar path from the lab bench to mass production. Herder welcomed the NRC announcements and awaits the details. I think it showcased the power of the public sector to play a key role in the development of vaccines, he said. There could also be strings attached on pricing, how much manufacturers can how much manufacturing can be done in Canada to meet both domestic and international needs and equality of access, he said. The NRC plans to use a cell line its scientists developed during Ebola vaccine research. So anyways, folks, so as you can see, and this will be definitely in the link in the description below, but think about it. So they're basically trying to make this into a government working with government, right? This is all public sector. This is all, and even though that Chinese company, you basically, like I say, you're talking about a company in China, you're basically talking about, right? So basically putting it in the hands of basically big government to do this. And how do I know that that's definitely where they're wanting to go with it? Well, because it's not just the fact that they basically admitted it in this article, but I was also listening to this particular CBC radio program as well that alluded to the same thing. Like I say, this is how they do it. They put this information all out over all the CBC programs so that it sounds like what's the word I'm looking for? So that it comes across as more authoritative, right? Because if you just had one person saying it, but if they spread that out all over like CBC radio, CBC News, and people hear it multiple times, they're like, oh, the more they hear it, the more it resonates, I guess, the more serious or the more legitimate, I guess you could claim it is, right? Okay, so I believe it's this one right here. Yeah. This was on the Sunday edition. COVID-19 pandemic reveals the risk of relying on private sector for life-saving vaccine, says expert. We need to rethink the structures that encourage knowledge production in a fundamental way. Matthew Herder. Sound familiar? Yeah, the same guy that was being referenced on the CBC News article. Anyways, folks, I'll give you a chance to check this stuff out and definitely listen to this. Like I say, there's a 26-minute thing embedded into it, audio portion into the CBC. But like I said, I'm going to try to move along here a little quicker. But basically, like I say, that completely aligns with the fact that they want to keep this as a government to government thing, right? And why is that? Is lots of non-disclosure agreements, how private companies function and how the government functions and the kind of rules or restrictions or regulations that each particular sector would have to abide by, completely different. Private sector, more competition oriented, definitely ways to hold private corporations to account through lawsuits and all kinds of things. But when it's done through government, right? A little bit of a gray area there where they could get away with a whole lot more stuff by running this kind of stuff through the public sector. Plus, like I say, Trudeau government, just like the Communist Party in China, are all about big government and destroying the private sector. So obviously that goes completely in line with their own personal ideology as well. Okay, so let's close that one up. Where did that go? Okay, so we covered the Chinese with the National Council. Oh, yeah, and then there was this article too. So let me bring this one up as well. This one is out of Global News as well. Coronavirus vaccine being tested in China could be tested in Canada soon. So it's basically talking about the same thing. Leslie Young, May 12, 2020. Coronavirus vaccine developed by a Chinese research team is in human trials in China, and researchers hope to soon test it in Canada too, according to a press release from the National Research Council of Canada. The vaccine, called 85-NCOV, and developed by the Beijing Institute of Biotechnology and CanSino Biologics, was approved for phase 1 human trials in China in mid-March. Now the company is filling out the paperwork to get it approved for test in Canada. Health Canada would have to approve the trial. According to the press release, the vaccine is the first in the world to make it to phase 2 clinical trial stage, meaning that it presents no obvious major safety issues and will now be evaluated for its effectiveness in preventing COVID-19. It is one of only a handful of vaccine candidates in the world against COVID-19 so far approved for initial safety testing in humans, the press release says. CanSino Biologics and the NRC are aiming to pave the way for future clinical trials in Canada in collaboration with the Canadian Immunization Research Network at the Canadian Centre for Vaccinology, the release reads. The vaccine candidate was developed using a line of cells from the NRC that has been used in the past to develop other vaccines, including one for Ebola. World Health Organization Director General Tedros, told the UN Economic and Social Council video briefing Monday that the original thinking 2 months ago was that it may take 12 to 18 months for a vaccine. But he said an accelerated effort is underway, helped by 7.4 billion euros, 11.2 billion Canadian dollars, pledged a week ago by leaders from 40 countries, organizations, and banks for research, treatment, and testing. Anyways, let me see. Was there something else here? Okay, so no, so I'll just cover up, I'll close up that article. But once again, so that's just confirming. But there was another article. Okay, well, this was the one. Yeah, okay, that was the one with the percentage. All right, let me just close that up. All right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, folks. Just checking, making sure I'm still keeping everything in order here. Let me get back to the stream, see what folks are saying. Trudeau being Chinese to the vac. Yeah, well, yeah, like I say, lots of Canadians will not be standing in line for these vaccines. I assure you that. They can keep putting forth the rhetoric all they want that Canadians support this, but like I say, the reality is going to slap them right fair and square right up the side of the head once they realize it, right? Yeah. Like I say, it seems like make veterans great again. Panda King. Panda King. Welcome to the stream. Make veterans great again. New Brunswick's not following Trudeau's rules on the Rona. He isn't impressed with us, which impressed me bigly. Yeah, that's a good thing, right? Keep the Bears. What's going on, good times? Keep the Bears. Yeah, that's another thing. See if they're not allowed to go back to school unless they're vaccinated. I'm glad, like, well, I wouldn't want to be in that position. I'm glad both of my sons are old enough and they haven't got children of their own as of yet that'll have to deal with this stuff. Well, I mean, actually, it wouldn't even be a big deal these days. What am I saying? First of all, I hope both of my sons, I'm pretty sure my oldest one in particular is wise enough not to put his kids, like I say, to get an education these days, you don't need the public education system. Matter of fact, going into the public indoctrination centers actually does the exact opposite of give you an education. It just turns you into an ideologue or an activist, as we've seen, right? So getting an education these days means staying away from public schools, actually, tell you the truth. In this Orwellian world, right? There he is. What's going on, Leo? How you doing, buddy? Oh, stats are easy, right? What is it? There's lies, damn lies, and then there's statistics, right? Oh, well, I mean, anyone knows about that. And I even I'll probably share it again where I did this whole thing and I write up on like mode, medium, mean, median, and mode, and how you can manipulate all that. Well, I mean, if you remember in school, like, yeah, of course, statistics. What kind of answer do you want? Because I can depend on how you want it represented. I can give you whatever kind of answer you want, right? I am so proud of you, Brave. So about membership, Brave. Not sure what that is. Okay, stop that. God damn it. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, it was right on. Right on, Ken. Let me scroll down here quicker. Hello, Ben White. Hi, my friend. How you doing? Begging, protesting isn't fighting for our freedom and rights, but I disagree but I digress or Ben will stop that. No, listen, you can do your thing, man. I don't care. It's just, to me, it's like just as long as you don't get into like the personal attacking or advocating for but I get what you're saying. Listen, and I'm not disagreeing with you. My name 60. It's not that I disagree with you. It's like I say, we all got to function in this goddamn world, right? I mean, this is just the reality that for me to even have a channel or have the ability to say what I've got to say in any way is I have to follow through on these ridiculous suppression of my speech. I'm not allowed to speak freely, right? And I wish I could. I really, really do. I wish that freedom of speech actually did exist in Canada. And actually the way I would be covering these stories, I mean, I'm still trying to be at least somewhat decent in it and at least try to keep it somewhat entertaining or engaging in some way. And it would be a whole lot more if I didn't have to constantly worry about suppressing my own self. And it's not that I want to suppress you in any way, shape, or form. It's just that, if I'm gonna have to do it for myself because I don't want my channel to be affected even more negatively than it already is, because these people are sitting around just waiting, just salivating and hoping that people like myself or people that are challenging the status quo and the establishment that will do something wrong, that will give them the opportunity to basically just, get rid of me entirely, get rid of my channel entirely would be something. And I just don't want anyone like you or anyone else to, cause that for me. So not suggesting just by reading the comment that they would do it, but I'm just saying, just give them less fodder, right? Or less shit to throw at us. And that's the way I'm looking. It's not that I'm against you. Obviously, I completely and fully understand, right? It's just that, like I say, we live in a world that, and in a country where you're not allowed, like freedom of speech isn't really freedom of speech in Canada. Somewhat quasi, yeah, but anyways, they won't be vaccinating me. There is a lot of space in these lands and I can survive without the BS. 100%. Oh yeah, in Canada, especially in Canada, if you know any survival techniques and you're already someone that's kind of familiar with the living in rural type community or settings, like, it wouldn't be that difficult, would it? It's a big old country, like you say. Mr. Briggs, what's going on? I will not let them inject an unknown substance vaccine into my body. Me neither. My body, my choice. Like I say, I can't wait because all the lefties, especially the feminists, right? Oh, I can't wait for the day, which is why I still got that thing pinned on my Canadian Libertarian Facebook channel, because I can't wait to the day when they try to offer up a mandated vaccine. Sorry, folks. Yeah, remember feminists? Remember all you people that are, all big supporters of abortion and stuff? My body, my choice. Yeah. Well, we have to respect your body, your choice, right? Well, I expect the exact same thing in return. Are you willing to do the same thing? Like, we'll see, right? We'll see how consistent the left is in terms of my body, my choice when this all plays out, right? We'll see. Should prove to be another example where we'll be able to throw their crap right back in their face. Okie dokie. Scrolling down here. There we go. What's going on, Mr. G Rich? How you doing, buddy? What's happening, everybody? Nice to see you in the stream there, Mr. What's this? The PPC. Why is the PPC not presenting a stand at this critical time? It is an optimal time to raise awareness to a common theme. I hear you, Mr. Briggs, but listen, as far as I'm concerned, the PPC is it was an experiment, and the experiment proved to be a complete and utter waste of a tremendous amount. Matter of fact, it has actually caused me, like I say, I've already covered this before, but I've had to go through the whole roller coaster, and then with YouTube messing with me too, it's like, just When it comes to PBCs, like I'm just putting that in my rearview mirror and I'm moving on. I'm just moving on because I just can't take the chances anymore of dealing with a bunch of status or wannabes that really don't have any, like, they, not only is Maxime not the proper kind of leader, and I even when I hear people kind of, oh, Max is so great, or Max is like really though? Not compare, who the hell are you comparing him to? I mean, I suppose if you compare him to Trudeau or Scheer, but really though, you're like, that's scraping the bottom. Like that's scraping at the bottom of the barrel. You're down into the fucking grease pit at this point in time, and now, and that's where you're trying to pick from, way down in the grease pit. How about you at least come up to, so you're not sub-cavernous, right? Come up into the ground level at least, right? Where the daylight, where they're actual, like, where you can actual experience the real world, not just down into the cavernous part of people's minds, basically. But yeah, let's deal with actual leadership that actually is genuinely brave, courage, and shows that they have the, not just the convictions of their courage or the courage of their convictions, but the fucking ideas. Because that was the other thing, even when the whole thing was playing it with PBC, I offered a couple ideas in terms of like using social media and ads, and even getting people like myself, content creators, throw us a few bucks, so that we have some kind of production company, or we can, outsource some kind of production values where it's not just, low budget. Well, I mean, it'd still be low budget, but where we can put on some kind of a professional type ads or videos or a mini documentary. I mean, there was a multitude of things that we could have done that proved to be very beneficial and fruitful for Ron Paul during his 2008 run or 2012 run to challenge the status quo or the status. Like I say, lots of things to build on. And things that could have been successful here or proved to be successful here. But I don't know what the hell it was. Like everything that they were doing was all about, I don't know. Like I say, I to this day, I still can't figure out what the hell the point of the PPC was, because it just didn't. I mean, it got us all excited, but it proved to be a complete waste of time. Complete and utter waste of time. Very infuriating. Very infuriating. Because like I say, I'm not happy myself about the fact that I had to waste my own time. Thank you very much, Missy. Appreciate it. Okie dokie, down here. Hey, Droopy. What's going on, Droopy82? Remember that cartoon character, Droopy. Homeschooling is smart social distancing. Yes, I agree. Homeschooling is great. Right on. Yeah, really. What public education? Yeah. No, they're not. They don't. No, and it's absolutely true. And it's a sad thing. Mr. G, you remember here, I'm having trouble joining. It doesn't like my postal code. Huh, really? That's really odd. Maybe Mr. G Rich can help you out. There's about 6, I think, members on there now. And I'm not sure if there's anyone else that's in the chat. But yeah, maybe you could try to help him out there, Mr. G Rich, if you wouldn't mind. Because yeah, I'm not sure what the postal code would. Although maybe if you're using a VPN, I wonder, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it would have anything to do with that. I'm just thinking off the top of my mind here. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Make veterans great again. Missy's actually, great commenter here, great contributor to the channel. I'm really, really happy to have Missy in the stream, actually, and being another fellow NBer, that's just icing on the cake, right? Yeah, I'm very, very, actually, I should mention that. Yeah. Thank you very much, Missy, for however you found my channel. I'm really appreciative that you have it. I'm very, very appreciative that you frequent my streams. It's good to have you in the streams for sure. Okay. So G Rich is saying strange. I always have issues getting things online because I'm at a postal box. It's silly. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Done. My body, my choice, and believe all women still vote for Biden. Yeah, I know, right? I know. Like they're not consistent in this, even the slightest, are they? Right? They're not even consistent. It's just whatever in the moment, like in the moment, and it just sways with the wind. Like just that's what happens when you lack principles, right? I'd give it a try. My issues are always with delivery. maybe that's, I have a postal box too. Maybe I should put PO boxes to. Oh, well, that could be, Jake. That actually, you know what? That could very well be the option. And if you do choose to be a member, I really, really appreciate that. By the way, I'm very thankful for those of you who have chosen to become a member already. I'm really happy that I'm getting some of that support. It really does help me out. Well, I mean, Mr. G. Rich there himself it's his donations basically, and in conjunction and in combination with a few other ones, but it like it's in terms of not just helping to pay for the internet, but StreamYards, because StreamYards monthly is $25 US, but that's $35 Canadian. That's a little bit expensive, but I love being able to use this particular service because it makes it so much easier for me to engage with you folks. And as you can see, being able to share that stuff, being able to share the screen, being able to put your comments on the actual right there on the video, like while we're watching it. Really enjoy it. And like I say, if it wasn't for Mr. G. Rich, I would still be having to use the Streamlabs, which nothing against Streamlabs. And my son did offer to help me kind of get stuff set up. But I really love the StreamYard setup, and it definitely has made my life a lot less intensive in terms of all the background stuff. Because that's the other thing. You folks get to see me when I'm on the camera, like doing my thing and getting the mic in front of me, but you don't see what the hell kind of crap I have to do all the time, behind the scenes, just to even get set up, and especially the technical aspects too, right? Because it can be, and I'm sure critical, Leo probably knows this, that even that alone could be a pain in the butt and time consuming, right? Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it makes you wonder, right? I don't like to go down that route. I think there was probably good intentions for the PBC, but it could be, we did hear people, saying that it's all about splitting the vote, right? I didn't believe that rhetoric at the time. I kind of would tend to not necessarily choose to believe it even now, but who's to say? That could be it too, Jake. Maybe when you're doing the thing, maybe just turn off your VPN until, like, try the other thing, like what Mr. G. Rich said. Maybe just do the postal or the PO box or whatever. But if that doesn't work, maybe just turn off your VPN to do the original sign up, and then once you or the membership thing, and then once you've done that, then you can just go back and turn your VPN back on. Because actually, VPNs are great to have. I've got one myself now too, and yeah, it's definitely good to have. Oh, I see someone did become a member. Let's see here. Maybe. Oh, Jake did. Right on, Jake. You figured it out. Thank you very much for becoming a member. I won't be able to see what level you picked until I get off the stream. Or actually, no, I might be able to do that now. I'm going to do that now because actually I keep having to do that. But maybe there is another way for me to check it on the fly, because I do want to give not just a special shout out, which, like I say, you get anyways, no matter what level, but you also get other options that come with it as well. So let's see, memberships. Let's see, does it show up here? This is what the membership tab looks like to members. Okay, no, I'd have to go into my studio and check real quick. Sorry, folks. Just give me a moment. Whoa, dang, I'm down 5 more subscribers, I see. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. I don't know how I keep bleeding subscribers. I just keep bleeding. I'm gaining, but I'm losing more than I'm gaining. So it means I'm constantly bleeding off. It's unreal. I don't know how the hell I keep losing. Like I don't understand. How's it in the last month or two that how many people actually choose to go back after and unsubscribe? Like, is that really commonplace? I don't know. Anyways. So where are we going to get to find out? Oh yeah, members, monetization, membership. See all. Let's see what we got here. Aha! Yep, I got you. Okay, so I see it's so you pick I believe it's the middle one. Yeah, Liberty Hunter. Thank you very much, Jake Fillmore, for the Liberty Hunter membership level. That's the middle level, and that means in addition to the special shout out, and now that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually there's 8. Hey, I missed someone else that signed up that I apparently must have missed out on. Well, okay, I'm going to have to fix that. So Jake Fillmore, Industry Studios, Soul Changes, Malcolm Johnson, M. Foley, Ken Rose, Spartan Chuckles, and Mr. G. Rich. Thank all of you, and special shout out once again for all you choosing the membership. And for whoever it was that I must have missed out on, it might have been that Industry Studios. I really, really appreciate your support as well. And a special shout out to you, because I believe that must have been either that or Soul Changes, because those are the two most recent other than Jake Fillmore. But now that we've got 8 in there, so I'm going to definitely be doing, because you will now have access to, I'll do a stream with just a private chat only. And now that we've got I've got 8 members now. Yeah, I think it's about damn near time. So expect that announcement coming up sometime soon over the next week or two, where I'll be doing a live stream specifically for the members, so we can kind of have a more exclusive setup for that thing, and talk about things in a more a private type chat setting. And in addition to that, like I say, those of you, so the ones that have gone to the upper level, which is Liberty Leader, so M. Foley, so Mitchell Foley, Ken Rose, and Mr. G. Rich. You got to remember, you folks, anytime you want to come on to this channel, you got 3 times in the run of a year that you're totally welcome to come on here and talk about whatever you want. So just keep that in mind too, and reach out to me in the message forum anytime you do want to do that, because I'm here for you. Anytime you want to do that, we'll set it up immediately. So once again, thank you very much. And thank you once again, Jake Fillmore, for choosing to become a member. I really appreciate that, folks. Really, really do. Okay. Okay. Right on. Putting P.O. Box worked. Right on. Now proud member. Thank you very much, Jake. I really, like I say, you just made my day there to have another member. It's so great. You folks really, like, there's days where I'm feeling down, because it just seems like I'm overwhelmed all the time with like having things negative happen to me, or my stuff suppressed. But then folks like you come along and really, really, really help cheer me up. So thank you very much for doing all that. I really appreciate it. You folks have no idea how much, I don't think, although I do try to express it. So let's continue on. Oh, and I didn't deal with since we're talking about some of this craziness that's going on, let's talk about the Bryan Adams thing, right? Because I don't think, I haven't done a stream since the whole Bryan Adams thing come about, right? And of course, CBC News, the way they covered it's wild. Let me just bring that up here. Like, as if Bryan Adams, me and the wife were talking about it too. It's like, come on, Bryan Adams, really though? That is one of the few people in the music industry, right? And he's like a rocker kind of a guy, right? But he's one of the few people in the music industry. And of course, the fact that he's Canadian, right? But and he never gets into any controversial anything. Like Bryan Adams, I've known about that guy even when I was a young man myself, listened to Summer of '69 and all that stuff, right? It's like, come on, like all that time for decades and decades, like, you never hear anything negative about Bryan Adams. You don't hear anything controversial. He's never like in the tabloids back in the day or anything. And he's nothing where he come out and did some controversial thing or got in trouble or got caught, right? I mean, come on, you think about all the Hollywood celebrities that get caught with their pants down proverbially, right? or literally, actually. But I mean, a lot of that stuff, and with the paparazzis, they're always looking to catch celebrities in some controversial act, right? But yeah, Bryan Adams seemed to have gone his whole life, and he's getting to be an older gentleman at this point in time. Obviously, still doing great, still making great music, though, by the way. But yeah, it took all this, right? And for Bryan Adams, and what he said, obviously was not racist. Come on. I mean, if you read the actual quote of what he actually said, it's like, there's nothing racist about it. He was upset about the fact that a lot of his shows, his concerts, have been not just postponed, but basically canceled, right? Which is a big deal. I'm sure for someone like Bryan Adams, a lot of work, a lot of effort went into these things. And I'm sure he's probably looking to get paid too, right? But all this stuff happened, and why? Because of what has happened. Because the fact, and how it all played out with the Communist Party over there in China. I mean, how much of this devastation has taken place, and how much COVID-19 spread. Although we've managed it, like, look at, it's already fairly well contained as it is, and that was even with the Chinese Communist Party and the WHO basically not giving us the proper messaging early on that would have gave us ample time, maybe an extra week or two, or maybe even longer, to be able to prepare. Or, like I say, or for China, rather than all those planes that traveled all over the world from China, Like if we had got this information beforehand, maybe we could have stopped a lot of those flights and nipped it literally in the bud, and we wouldn't have ever go down to anything even remotely resembling lockdown, or where governments such as Canada have now ramped up debts to the point where, what are they saying? Basically, we'll be into almost over $1 trillion of debt, right? Just in response, and Trudeau's been out spending like what, almost $300 billion just in this short time frame, right? A lot of that stuff like would have never probably had to take place or happen had it not been for the fact that we weren't given the proper information first and foremost. So, of course, we should all be upset by that fact. And Bryan Adams was upset by that fact, and he spoke out. And, of course, his words were a little bit hastily or angrily spoken, but it sure as shit wasn't racist. This out of British Columbia, CBC. Bryan Adams' Instagram post draws rebuke from Chinese-Canadian organization, social media users. Warning, this story contains offensive language, right? A prominent Chinese-Canadian activist says she is shocked, disappointed, and angry about an Instagram post on Canadian singer Bryan Adams' official account that she and others say is racist. The post contains a snippet of Adams singing his hit song, Cuts Like a Knife, an accompanying description, and expresses his frustration that COVID-19 related restrictions have led to the postponing of 3 shows at the Royal Albert Hall in London, England. Tonight was supposed to be the beginning of a tendency of gigs at the Royal Albert Hall, but thanks to some fucking bat-eating, wet market, animal-selling, virus-making, greedy bastards, the whole world is now on hold, the post reads. My message to them, other than thanks a fucking lot, is go vegan, right? But obviously not racist at all. And the fact that the CBC is trying to use this Chinese group as a means to push back, I've heard from actual just Chinese people in Canada say, no, I support Bryan Adams, and I agree with them. So, but CBC is choosing to use this Chinese group. And what is this Chinese group? Amy Goh, president of the Chinese Canadian National Council for Social Justice, called the post racist and believes it could stoke hatred of Chinese Canadians. People look up to public figures. He's seen as an idol by many, Goh said. It justifies this racist hatred against Chinese. This is so irresponsible and just so racist, right? Like, come on. Obviously. But listen to this. This Chinese group, well, just to let you know, so that's CBC, but according to, now this one, I couldn't read the actual article, but I definitely will show the headline of it, at least, because I can show that. Look at this, folks. This one's out of the Globe and Mail. Like I say, I'm not subscribed to the Globe and Mail. Don't plan on being anytime soon either. But anyways, I would have loved to have been able to read this article, actually, though, with a headline, China ramping up bullying and intimidation of activists in Canada, report says. This report by Robert Fife and Stephen Chase, Ottawa Bureau Chief Robert Fife, and 2 days ago. And what's today? So the 14th, so I guess on the 12th of May. But basically, what do you think is contained within this article talking about bullying and intimidation of activists, right? Wonder if it would have anything to do with this group. I would suggest that it's a potential anyways. But in addition to that, like, we can speculate as to that. But there's also this article as well. Let me share this one. This one out of Global News. And I can read this one. So if you look at this article out of Global News, Chinese Canadians suffering in silence as China's united front reaches into Canada. I do believe that united front is more or less along the lines of these people that was referenced in the CBC article. But let me just read into this and we'll kind of confirm that. This was reported by Sam Cooper, May 12, 2020. For Anastasia Lin, that's a cool name. The breakthrough came shortly after her speech at Oxford University in early February. The 30-year-old Chinese-Canadian actress and beauty pageant winner had been speaking for years about the Chinese Communist Party's worldwide influence operations and its human rights abuses. But she had never received vocal support from her community, she says, until her widely shared speech struck a nerve amidst Beijing's coronavirus response. Born in Hunan, China, her family immigrated to Vancouver, BC when she was 13. When she started to take acting jobs almost by accident, Some of the roles drew her into a community of Chinese dissidents and human rights advocates. She describes the process of awakening to the indoctrination of her education in China, where citizens are taught to view the West as an enemy and the Communist Party as the sole guardian of Chinese people worldwide. Lin became so vocal of her criticism of the Communist Party's influence tactics in China or in Chinese immigrant communities that after she was crowned Miss World Canada in 2015 and she sought a visa to compete for the world title in China, authorities there denied her application. Oh, how dare she insult the dear communist leaders. But Lin kept speaking out, and in 2018, the Macdonald-Laurier Institute named Lin as the Ottawa think tank's new ambassador on Canada-China policy. For the University of Toronto graduate, speaking about China's politics came at a personal cost. She says her family has been harassed and called anti-Chinese. Even more stunning, for Lin and her mother in Vancouver informed her that Chinese national security agents had questioned a family business colleague in China. My mom told me her colleagues was visited by Chinese secret police and they asked about me in recent years, Lin said. The Chinese consulate in Ottawa has not responded to a request for comment on the allegations of this story. Yeah, I wonder why. Since winning the Miss World Canada title in 2015, Lin has come to the belief through quiet conversations among trusted friends and colleagues that most Chinese Canadians are opposed to the Chinese Communist Party's so-called United Front networks that seek to control immigrant groups. But in her words, many Chinese heritage citizens worldwide are suffering in silence and in isolation. If I speak up, people of my background would feel tremendous fear. Many people have tremendous anger towards the Chinese Communist Party, but also tremendous fear, Lin said. After I won Miss World Canada, I would run into Chinese in supermarkets in Scarborough. They would come up to me and tell me in secret, just in a very quiet voice, what you are doing is brave. Even with this quiet support, while Lin grew into her role as a Chinese Canadian leader, she says it was painful to read comments about herself online. She says trolls that criticize what they term as anti-Chinese hostile forces can be especially boisterous towards women. But something changed for Lin after a speech at Oxford on February 6th. Her message resonated powerfully and thousands responded positively. Whether the rest of the world understood it or not, China was engaged in a Cold War with democracies, Lin said. In considering communist China's threat, we could talk about many angles, Lin said in her speech. We can talk about how its censorship of information endangers global health, and now the coronavirus outbreak is a perfect example. I can tell you personally how the Chinese Communist Party targets family of political opponents abroad, and Lin took direct aim at the Communist Party's influence networks. Beijing backs numerous front organizations and civil society groups in Western societies, including Chinese student and professional associations. These groups act as extensions of the state and party apparatus. They are mobilized to influence the outcome of local elections and influence government policy in the West, Lin said. What? Whatever. So why don't we hear like the way the established media talked about Russiagate or Russia influencing the elections in Canada or US, right? Or the UK. Well, what about this? It's being reported by the global news. Why isn't there a big spectacle? Why is CBC? Why is the Trudeau Liberal government? Or why is none of these establishment parties, talking more seriously about this very important issue that's being pointed out here by this lady? Yeah, basically the Communist Party there in China is constantly mobilizing their activist groups to influence the outcome of local elections and influence government policy in the West, right? So, but of course, that's not, see, that doesn't fit with the kind of political propaganda that the CBC likes to espouse. So, they'll keep that kind of story buried or barely ever talked about, or brushed under the carpet, or reported on a Friday down at the very bottom section of the page where nobody ever sees it, right? And then people move on. That's basically what they do. Within days of the speech, she had 25,000 new Instagram followers. A YouTube recording of her speech posted April 14 had been viewed over 600,000 times. And according to YouTube statistics, 23,000 viewers have approved of Lin's message, while 2,600 disapproved. About 6,600 have commented, and for the first time, Lin says she feels empowered to read the comments without feeling attacked. Good for you, Lin. I'm daring to read the comments, she said. Anyways, Lin believes it is the Communist Party's handling of the coronavirus outbreak which has triggered an unprecedented moment of openness for the Chinese diaspora. I think the community is being more willing to be vocal about the pandemic cover-up, and that gave more ordinary Chinese people and diaspora courage to speak up for the first time. She said, diaspora, sorry. Lin said she estimates the majority of Canadians are against Beijing's attempts to censor information and manage the pandemic. Okay. Lin and Chinese-Canadian academic that asked not to be named, and Canadian journalist Jonathan Manthorpe, an expert on China and United Front diaspora influence operations, all told Global News they believe that Canadian leaders and the broad society need to recognize the pressure extorted on Chinese-Canadian community groups. The Chinese-Canadian academics who is studying Beijing's influence networks asked to remain anonymous due to concerns that officials in Chinese consulates in Canada could interfere with research. The academic said Beijing's effort to control citizens have recently increased due to the pandemic crisis. Anyways, folks, so as you can see, this is quite an article, actually. Here we go. You see that the Chinese embassy and consulates are trying to get members of the diaspora to work on its behalf. The increasing control of the media in Canada is part of the United Front. How they are reporting. It is important for the sake of this country for us to research this. In an interview regarding the United Front's influence networks in Canada, Manthorpe said the United Front has been vastly increased under President Xi Jinping and seeks to control the Chinese diaspora and use community members only on the basis of their Chinese ancestry as foreign agents for Beijing's strategic goal. And yet Canadians have largely failed in exposing the... Well, anyways, I'll place a link to this. Oh, hold on. Anyways, folks, yeah, I'll just place a link to this. Well, it's already in there, actually. But so, it could be reported on, but for some reason, very few media outlets, think about it. Usually, when a story like this takes place, all the media outlets are reporting on it. But I haven't seen anything coming out of CBC. I haven't seen a concerted or coordinated effort of the established media to really raise this issue to such a degree where it actually does take notice by not just Chinese Canadians, but by the rest of Canadians as well. Like I say, no, it doesn't go along with the politically driven narrative espoused by most contributors to the establishment media in this country, which is why you're only going to get it reported by particular contributors such as those here, right? Anyways, let me just stop that one. There's this one too, just to make sure, another connection between the Communist Party of China, Canada, and the COVID-19. So let's see what this is. This is out of an article out of the Toronto Sun. Opinion piece. This was a special to the Toronto Sun on May 10th, 2020. The CBC, the CPP, and COVID-19. Where's the contributor? Doesn't say the contributor. Just columnist. All right. Oh, okay. There we go. By David Mattis and David Kilgore. Research we have done since 2006 on the mass killing in China of prisoners of conscience for their organs have led us inevitably to learn about other more general subjects. The coronavirus disease of 2019 caught the world by surprise, but to us, many of its features were repetitions of familiar patterns. We saw how the Chinese Communist Party and the government of China, which it directs, reacted to our research on organ harvesting. The reaction was cover-up, denial, invective, publication of false statistics, a shifting counter-narrative, repression of contrary voices, and political and economic pressures abroad. We could also see how the rest of the world responded to the CCP government of China reaction, including the global media. Some reporting about China was first rate. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation regrettably fell on the other end of the spectrum. Well, that's always the case, right? CBC. Because basically the CBC is the communist propaganda arm of the Canadian government. And as we know, Trudeau Liberals, big fans of communist basic dictatorship. For instance, the CBC commissioned a documentary from Peter Rowe about Falun Gong in China. Falun Gong has been the primary victim of organ transplant abuse in China. The CBC announced the showing of the documentary in November 2007 and then pulled it after protests from the Chinese embassy. Right? The documentary was shown later with criticism of the CCP, government of China, deleted or softened. Aha! Right? The CCP government of China reaction to COVID-19 was, to us, just standard operating procedure. The same reaction of cover-up. What? Seems like I'm reading the same thing. Repression and so on, they manifested not only with evidence of organ transplant abuse with president of conscious victim, but also with SARS or indeed any news coming out of China, which puts the CCP in a bad light. The reporting of COVID-19 followed also a familiar pattern, both good and bad. The CBC remains as awful with report on COVID-19 as it has been with organ harvesting. The Epoch Times, an independent newspaper with a Chinese focus and substantial Chinese input, run largely by a mostly Chinese victim community, Falun Gong, put out a special edition on COVID-19 and distributed it free in some parts of Canada. Some postal workers misread the publication as being critical of ethnic Chinese and objected to its delivery. This sort of misreading is not much different from calling a criticism of Trump anti-American. Yet the CBC reported on these objections as if they had some validity to them, right? Exactly. None of the authors of the individual articles disputed by the postal workers were interviewed. The initial CBC report raised such a storm of protest that the CBC story and its headline were changed more than once. Yeah, remember? Twice. Yet the initial CBC report in its amended form and a subsequent report still report the concerns of those who misread the publication as if there was some reality behind their concerns, but not the responses of any of the authors of the disputed piece. I would assume that's supposed to say. To take only one more of many examples from the CBC reporting about the Epoch Times special issue, the CBC quoted a sociology professor as saying that the Falun Gong movement was declared illegal by the Chinese government in 1999, but that did not happen. But even if it did, if government deems people that are challenging an oppressive regime illegal, like hello, all authoritarian regimes usually tend to deem it illegal to challenge them, right? The Chinese government did declare illegal the research. The Chinese government did declare illegal the research society of Falun Gong and the Falun Gong organization under control. However, this is different from declaring the practice of Falun Gong illegal. The practice of Falun Gong is not an organizational activity, but simply a set of exercise with a spiritual foundation, a Chinese equivalent of yoga. The practice requires permission from no one, payment to no one, registration with no one, and notice to no one. All information about how to practice Falun Gong and what are its spiritual foundations available free of charge, both in hard copy and on the internet. Anyways, folks. So another example, once again, where the CCP and the CBC, basically doing the dirty work of authoritarian regimes, whether you're talking about the Communist Party of China or in Canada, CBC loves laying a political cover for the Trudeau regime as well, right? So they kind of both have the same motives and motive, was it operandi, whatever? Crazy stuff, folks. Crazy stuff. Okay, so let me close that one up. Close that one. We only got a couple more folks just going to check in the stream. Where are we at here? 143. Like I said, we've got about 15 minutes left, so let me just give a quick old look through. Who's Bennett and Critical Thinkers, as many as I can, but all you guys are doing it. Thank you very much, Missy. You're the bomb. By the way, Missy, actually, since you're an NBer and you do end up being in the stream quite a few times, would you be cool with being a moderator if I give you the ability to be a moderator on my channel? If you wouldn't mind, I'll look to see what your response is, and I'll give you the ability to moderate. Like I say, only time I would ever really want you to do much would be, like, say, if people are doing, like, personally attacking someone else in the chat. I don't care if they insult me. If anything they throw at me, let her go. But if they're attacking other people in the chat, then it's, obviously I don't like that to be happening. Or if they're advocating for like violence and stuff, like stuff that would be deemed genuinely illegal, right? Then I would definitely would like a little help with that, because sometimes, as you can see, I can't stay on top of the comments as quite as readily as someone else that's sitting in the chat themselves and paying more close attention to it, right? But if you wouldn't mind, I would really appreciate that. But don't feel any pressure, Misty, because that's the thing. Don't feel like you have to or anything, but it would be nice, because you do seem to be a very reasonable person, and you show up in the stream quite a bit. And that's the kind of people I'm looking for to be moderators, is someone that's going to be reasonable, right? Don't take that power, right? Just, power has a corrupting nature. But I believe that Missy can be corrupted. Anyways, but it's like Rika. Rika's awesome. Rika knows how to yield the power. Okay. What else is going on? Yeah, that could. Well, I mean, it works out as something though, right? Because my actual subscriber count is going down. So I get what you're saying there. My name 604, but it does kind of work out that way, and because it works out that way, it's even further and further away from being recommended. It's like I say, it's a perfect storm in terms of everything that's happening for my channel, in terms of views, subscriber count, even comments, because now and with me doing more streams and most people just comment in the chat, not on the videos, like the activities. Like I say, it's a perfect storm at this particular time to have my channel suppressed in such a negative way, which is why I'm only getting basically a couple hundred views typically for each stream. But it doesn't matter. They can do whatever the hell they want. It's still not going to stop me from having this information out there. I'm going to provide and make the information, because it's always going to be here. Like, once it's there, you're not getting rid of it. And I really appreciate people that do show up to these streams and do watch my channel, and I'm always going to provide the information for them, and hopefully they can help share it around as well. I'm sure. Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, they say no doubt, no doubt. Okay. Is this at me? You, my dear sir, are the voice of many, many proud Canadians from across our wonderful land. Do not ever think otherwise. When needed, we will stand on guard for thee. Awesome. Thanks for the positive feedback, Mr. Briggs. Sometimes I really do need that, because yeah, it feels quite. My voice is screwing up. Uh oh. Sorry about that. Oh, okay. Well, then here, let me do that for you there, Missy. Okay, let me see if can I do it from here, or do I have to have? Good. Let me open that up, because I think I have to do it straight from YouTube. I don't think, yeah, I can't do it from the stream yet. I appreciate you accepting to do that, Missy. I really do. So let me see if I can go do that now. Open up the actual YouTube, because I think I have to go in through it this way. I'm going to have to hit the mute here. Just give me 1 sec, folks. You might hear a little feedback here for half a second or so. Waiting, loading. That's slow internet. I can't. Oh my God, that looked terrible. Oh, never mind. I already had it muted, so I didn't have to do it. Okay, so let me put Missy in the stream. There we go. There we go. Add moderator. You now have the power, Misty. Wield that power responsibly, girl. But yeah, no, I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Don't go drop the band hammer too quick, Missy. Although if you do, like I say, I gave you that responsibility, so you already. But yeah, okay, so it's down there now, right on. So I see we got that one there now. Oh, yes, actually, let me get back here, because I see. Yes, I do. I really do, Mr. G. Rich, and I'm going to answer you right here now. I seen it in the YouTube portion over here, but now I got to scroll it up. Oh, you get garbled audio too? Shoot. Darn it. Yeah, I see a few people are saying there's getting. Bummer. I want to get up there and read Mr. G. Rich's excellent comment. Where the heck did it go? Darn it. Where did he go? Yes, actually, yes. Now that you mentioned that, Mr. G. Rich, you're right. It was that. Thanks for pointing that out. Shoot. Well, I seen it in there in the stream when I was on the YouTube portion here. Let me see if I can find it back here again. Mr. G. Rich saying you have a very loyal audience base. And yes, 100% I do. 100% I do. And I'm very, very, very thankful and appreciative of that. And thanks for pointing that out because, yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I get a little bit negative. There we go. I found it here now. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Mr. G. Rich, because yeah, I know. And that's why I'm just moving past any negativity, get back into the positivity. Hey, what's going on, Cody Leatherdale? Nice to see you in the chat. But yeah, I'm definitely moving past and moving on to the positivity because I really, really, really do appreciate the very, very fine folks that are part of the audience. Like I say, I take for every one of the people that watch my channel, you're like, I'd put you up against 100 of our detractors or our opponents, right? Because yeah, good peeps, smarter, probably better looking. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, definitely got a lot better attributes than a lot of people. That's the thing I get. That's the thing I got to remind myself too. Yeah, you get people that get a lot of people that watch your stuff, but then go read the comment section, right? It's like, At least if you come and read my comment section, you get a lot of people that put on some great comments. Some of them, and I've been usually the ones that's like almost like novel length, you know, perfectly worded, space, you know, all the grammar, like, and articulated beautifully. Like I say, yeah, thanks for reminding me of that, Mr. G. Red, because yeah, man, I'm really, really thankful for the kind of people that do follow the channel and support me because yeah, some of the cream of the crop for sure, no doubt about it. But I'm glad I made your day, Missy, because like I say, I'm always looking for people that I can you know, have helped me in this thing. And I definitely think you're one of those people I can trust, and I know you'll do a great job at it. So thank you very much. Yeah, right on. Missy moderator. Okay, so anyways, folks, let me get back to, because I want to make sure. So, okay, we covered this. Close that bad boy up. And the Brian Adams, we covered that. Brian Adams. Like I say, guy with his whole life. Barely ever, never getting into any controversy, and took COVID-19, and now like they're trying to call a guy a racist. And didn't someone tell me? I didn't actually go in and check that out, but someone I think was telling me that they were going to hit the Order of Canada, and someone suggested they should take away his Order of Canada because of like, what the, like I'm telling you, just vile people. But anyways, yeah, let me cover this one. How much time do I got left? Because actually, I don't have to cover this next one because it's more economic. I'm closing up this freaking. You know what? I'm going to close up the stream, folks. I had a couple other articles, but I'll deal with them in the next stream because yeah, it does look like I was even looking. It looks like my stream is getting crap. The quality's crap. It looks like audio is dropping. I don't want to make you folks have to put up with this kind of nonsense for any time. So I totally understand if you're you know, kind of chomping at the bit to get out of this stream because if it turned out that bad of quality, I understand it. You folks are super for even putting up with that stuff. But thanks for everyone that did show up today, like I say, and thanks to Jay Filmer for the membership. Really appreciate it again. And like I say, give me a week or two. I'll try to figure out. I'll put it out as a community post for you folks. So make sure you've got that bell notification click so you're getting all notifications because I'll put out a community post for especially for all of you folks in the that have memberships. To try to hammer it like I'll put a couple dates and then see maybe because you can do it as a poll. I'll set up a couple dates and then I'll let you folks kind of use the democracy, right, where the majority of your mob rules. That's not fair to the individual, though, is it? Right? Anyways, I'll put in a couple dates and try to get an idea when you folks would like to have like a private stream with a private chat because that is part and parcel of becoming a membership, and I will definitely honor and uphold my obligations for doing so, and we'll work something out. I think it should prove to be quite interesting anyway. So, like I say, and now that there's 80 out there, then we got a real party to get going on here now. Woohoo, baby! Anyways, folks, y'all have yourself a great day. And I'll probably do a stream either tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to have to take one day to make a couple videos because I haven't made an actual video in quite a while. And I want to make set out one day this week or over the next couple of days to put a couple videos to upload to my channel. They're going to be obviously a shorter form, right? So probably, less than 10 minutes, but covering a couple of the very important things that I've been dealing in this stream. But at least that way, when they're cut into little segments, people are much more readily to just go look at that video, the short 5 or 10 minute video, and share it around. Whereas the stream, covering lots of great information in the stream, but to get all this great information, you kind of do have to watch all 2 hours of it, right? So I understand why I'm probably going to have to, like I say, take a little time to make just some of those standalone videos and upload them to the channel. But I'll definitely be back doing the stream and covering a lot of the breaking news and information and stories coming out, not just in regards to COVID, but, the gun grab and all the other craziness that's going on and taking place out there in the Western world, actually in the entire world in general these days. So like I say, everyone have yourself a great day. We'll see you in the next stream. This is Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.